Hey everyone, so it's been a while since I filmed a video for this channel and my schedule's been crazy, but I've been wanting to do this video for a long time explaining my whole YouTube setup. I'm sure there's a lot of ways I can still improve it, but I am happy with where it is right now. And for this video, I'm going to be using my movie review backdrop just to make it easier to film. I also have my Nikon Z50 over there filming the wide shot so you can get another behind the scenes look at what I'm showing in this video. Also, I should say this is going to be focused more on the light and audio, but I am going to mention my cameras and the settings I use for them along with the lenses, but those will not be included in the final total of everything that I'm mentioning today. So keep that in mind. Alright, let's go. First thing, cameras. I have the Nikon D5600 and the Nikon Z50. I've mainly been shooting with the Z50, especially this year, because it has better autofocus, better quality looking, it's mirrorless, and has really good autofocus. But I did start with the 5600, and the one advantage that it does have over the Z50 is that it has a flip out screen. In order to look at the screen on the Z50, which flips down, you have to get an extra mount that gives you the space for you to see the flip out screen. But I will say the Z50 is definitely the better camera that I've used between the two. Now for settings, I shoot at 1/60th of a second. Depending on the lens, I shoot between 1.8 and 2.8. 1.8 if I'm using my prime lens, and 2.8 if I'm using my 17-50 Sigma. And then for ISO, that also varies between the cameras that I'm using. For my mirrorless camera, I have to shoot a little bit higher at like 1000. For this camera, it's usually 800, but again, it varies depending on the lighting and where I'm shooting. Now, I shoot 1/60th to account for the light bulb behind me, which I'm going to get into in a second. That has a frequency of 60 Hertz. So in order to avoid flicker from this light bulb, I shoot at 1/60th. Now, if I didn't have this light bulb here, I would probably shoot at 1/50th, which is double the frame rate, which is 24 FPS. This is also 1080p footage that I'm shooting in, but it's scaled up to 4K. My Z50 does do uncropped 4K, and sometimes I use it, but a lot of times I'll probably just shoot 1080p because it's easier to work with and it takes up less space. Next, let's get into lighting. So a lot of the big YouTubers recommend big lights that are like $1,000 plus the dome, which is a lot more money too. And since I don't got money like that, I got an LED panel and used some diffusion to soften it. So the LED panel, I use a Supon L122T light panel, which I got for $38.99. The LED panel has a CRI of 95, which is pretty good. CRI stands for Color Rendering Index, which is kind of a rating to tell how good it is at showing color, how good is it with skin tones. So usually you want to get a light that's between 85 and 90, so 95 is really good in this scenario. I also like this panel because it gives you flexibility with changing the settings. You can change both the temperature and the intensity with just one knob, which is really useful. Next thing is diffusion. Without diffusion, the lighting becomes really harsh on your face, and you don't want that. It's very distracting. It looks really bad. Sometimes, depending on the situation, depending on the light, it gets really blown out. So to avoid that, I have this diffusion here, which comes from Neewer. I don't know how to say it. I hear some people say Neewer, and some people say Neewer. I really don't know, but they make good photography products. So I use their 5-in-1 reflector, and I just take off the actual reflector part and put the diffusion part there. And now what I have is two light stands. I have one light stand for the light panel, and then I have a light stand to hold up the diffusion panel. Now, to hold that up, I have two clamps, which came in a set of 4. More specifically, it's a pack of 4 to 6 inch clamps, which were $11.99. These clamps, you've probably heard from other YouTubers, are really useful for all kinds of problem solving and making your own kind of makeshift gear like I've done. I have 4 of them, and these two I have no use for right now, but I can take them anywhere with me, and I'm sure they'll be useful. Very easy to use, very handy. Now, let me show you the difference between having diffusion and not having diffusion. This is the LED panel without diffusion. This is the LED panel with diffusion. As you can see, the light is a lot softer. You get a nice fall off of the shadows. I also forgot to mention I have the light at a 45-degree angle to create Rembrandt lighting, which is where you have half your face is light, the other half is shadow, but there's this one triangle of light near your nose and your eye. This creates a lot of depth, and it adds a little more dramatic look to your footage. It may not work for everybody. If you're doing beauty videos, you probably want to have a light that's actually directly on your face, like a ring light, or a similar light like this, some kind of softbox where it's going straight to your face. so you can get all the details of your face, especially if you're doing makeup. And then also, for a little razzle dazzle, this part is not 100% necessary. I just do this as a little extra thing to give my backdrop a little more interest. I have a Feit electric smart light bulb in this lamp behind me. You can get a 2-pack of these for $24.99. The ones I have came from Costco, but I'm pretty sure you can get them anywhere. I saw them also on Amazon. These are really cool because you can control the colors and the intensity with your phone. There's an app, so I can change the color. I can change it from red to teal or to purple. I change it back to red. That's really cool, and you can also change the intensity, and there's a bunch of other settings too, so it's really, really versatile light. For the price that you get, it works pretty well, adds a lot of extra interest to your background, makes it a lot cooler looking. Now let's get into audio. Now when I first started YouTube, I used a lavalier mic, and it was affordable, less than 20 bucks. It worked for a while, sound quality was fine, but towards the beginning of this year, it just stopped working. So I am gonna include the price of it down below in my final totals, but I would recommend maybe exploring different brands because it really depends on which one you use. This one worked for a short amount of time, so I would maybe not recommend getting the one that I got, but it is a cheap option if you are looking to start YouTube. And then once you get a little more comfortable, maybe you get some more income or something, then you can invest in another mic. So the mic that I'm using now is the Rode Video Micro, which is mounted to a mic stand that's sitting right above me. You can't see it in the camera, but you can probably see it on the Z50 over there. You can see it's right above me, and I tilt it slightly towards me, so like in case I move forward, move back, it still can hear me well, versus if I put it right over my head, then it probably wouldn't pick up what I'm saying as well. The microphone stand that I got is $19.82 from Amazon. In order to attach the Rode Micro to the microphone stand, I had to get an adapter, which was the OnStage 5/8 inch male to 3/8 inch male female adapter, which was $4.95. And then to connect the microphone to my camera, because I don't have a recorder or anything, I just go straight into the camera. I have a 50-foot long aux cord going from the microphone to the camera. Now, I've mentioned I'm in a small room, and so at first you're wondering, Chris, you don't need 50 feet. Now, my reason for getting that is, one, it was not that much more expensive, and two, it's useful for if I have to take this setup somewhere else and I may have to make the camera sit farther away from the microphone, I have a lot more wiggle room. The aux cord was $13.99, so again, it's not that much money. I'm gonna give two totals here. The basic setup, which is just the light panel, the diffusion, the clamps, the stands, and the lavalier mic. I'm not including the camera. So with those items, it's $124.24. So that's not too expensive if you're just starting out. Again, it's not thousands of dollars. And again, you can change parts of it as you go on, as you make more money, as you get more experience. And also, I forgot to mention, you don't have to get the exact brands that I'm getting. It's really versatile. You can get different brands of LED panels, you can get different microphone brands, you can get different wires. Any of this stuff you can get is interchangeable, but I'm just giving you suggestions just for if you're starting out and you don't know where to go at all. So now let's do the grand total, which is everything that I just mentioned, but instead we're gonna take out the lavalier mic and we're gonna have the Rode Micro, the microphone stand, the adapter for it, the light bulb behind me, that kind of stuff. So the total for everything in my setup is $208.88. So again, you're gonna think, Chris, that's a lot of money. Now, yes, but in comparison to what a lot of these big YouTubers are spending for their setups, which is thousands of dollars actually, it's not that bad. Again, if you're just starting out, if you're already working another job, for example, then it's definitely affordable and it's a great place to start. These things, again, are interchangeable. You can get different brands. You can make the setup your own. There's different ways to do it, but this is just what I use, what I've been using, and it's been working. So I hope this video is helpful for anybody that's trying to start with YouTube. And if you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. Also, don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe. I hope to get more videos on this channel in the next few weeks, few months. So stick around. I'm excited to keep doing some cool photography related stuff and video making stuff. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.